is the scientific basis for telepathy, or at least what people think telepathy is, and it does explain a lot of things. We'll talk about it. When we communicate with other humans, I'm assuming you're human, your brain does a weird thing in which it starts to sync up thought patterns. It goes so far that the neural pathways that we experience start to look similar when you're actually communicating with someone, and it even works online. Yeah, when people are online gaming, their EEGs look very similar. So it's definitely not something to do with brainwaves coming out of our head, it's how we communicate. It is quite strong when it comes to romantic relationships, and it actually was found that when people kiss, their brains align quite well. It's very strong with parents and their children, specifically babies, and it seems to be led by the child itself. Once your child becomes an adult, it is indistinguishable from strangers. Your brain considers your child, when they've grown up, the same as a stranger as far as brain alignment. That actually makes a lot of sense because very young children cannot communicate very effectively, and it is your job as a parent to figure out what is wrong with them. And less so when they grow up. This doesn't mean you don't have a strong relationship, it just means that you can't mind read them as well. So why? Why has evolution given us this weird quirk where we can understand other human beings and feel what they feel? We can't know for certain, but it's very likely a social adaptation. If you know what your partner or romantic partner feels, you can even feel it yourself. It keeps you safe and it keeps the community safe. This is highly linked to empathy, so your ability to understand what somebody else feels is your cognitive empathy, and your ability to actually feel it is your affective empathy. You will find that people who do not have effective empathy, so the ability to actually feel, come across as very uncanny, and it is a primary characteristic of narcissists and psychopaths, the inability to feel others' feelings. If somebody is lying to you, you may notice that you might feel a little uncanny. Something isn't quite right. You're not quite in sync. When it comes to the evolution of a highly social species, that could be very dangerous. It would make sense that you would have a built-in lie detector, but this also likely makes us susceptible to manipulation. If somebody is just a very, very good liar and can earnestly display emotions in such a way that your brain is not picking up on it, yeah, I could see how that could be a flaw in the system. What also interests me about this is AI's uncanny ability to make people insane. Though if you can sync up your brains with somebody you're playing an online game in, if our ability to socialize is really that predictable, then if we have an AI that's simply mimicking what people say and how they feel, how is that affecting our brains? Because there's no real way to literally sync up with an AI, it makes sense that it might make us a little loopy. Furthermore, if we could mimic this behavior with a neuromorphic AI, would it then be able to be truly conscious? I think about these things. Also, I guess if AI does become super intelligent, but also lacks the capacity for empathy that we have, are we actually creating something that's very dangerous? I've been hesitant to cover this topic because I think it's a little bit unscientific, just thousands of researchers and programmers' opinions on whether or not AI will cause the extinction of humanity. I mean, if you want to hear about it, I would love to talk about it. Follow for more. I love to cover the weird.